right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Bob Pompeani with you until 11 o'clock on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. If you're driving around, if you're up watching this, call 412-575-2600. And I'm actually going to start with a tweet tonight. You can hit me up at Twitter or X. It's at KDPomp. This is from Mike D-Log, who says, how much money will Brandon Lau make in the open market? Which is a relevant question because Brandon Lau plays for the Pirates. He should have been an all-star. He now has 21 home runs. 63 runs batted in. He is on pace for maybe his best offensive season ever, well-timed as if he goes into free agency at the end of this year. The question is, will the Pirates bring him back? And if so, how much? You know, first of all, he's 31, which means he's looking at one more big contract. To me, that means he's going to want 4 to 5 years at the price of probably $25 million a year. That seems to be the market. Would you pay it if you're the Pirates? I would, but I don't know that they will. They have options to move on without him, however, because Nick Gonzalez can play a various amount of infield. He's really a second baseman. He could move there. You have, then Griffin at short, and you can use somebody else at third. But there's a way to do it. Also, Tamar Johnson's in their organization. He's having a better year. But you're going to miss that kind of power if you let him go. So how much would you pay? I think I would pay the price. Again, there's uncertainty at the end of the season because of what will be a lockout, and I'm not sure what the salary cap, if there's going to be one, or a floor or anything like that will look like. So there's still a lot of things that have to be settled before then. But at this point, I don't think the Pirates will pay that. They'll probably look in plan B. What would you do at 412-575-2600? I thought both Brian Reynolds and certainly Lau deserve to be on an all-star game. To be honest, Skeens, who's on it, his reputation precedes him, and that's fine. But Braxton Ashcraft has been their best pitcher, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Skeens decides not to participate, which could open the door for Ashcraft. Pirates continue to hit the ball very well. They won again today. And this team is very intriguing to me. They're playing without two really good offensive players for them this year. O'Neal Cruz, who was on pace to like a 30-30 season, maybe even 30-40, and he got injured. He won't be back until after the All-Star game. Same can be said of Spencer Horwitz, who still was hitting 280, 10 home runs, 33 runs batted in before his injury. He, too, won't be back until after the All-Star break. So, in the meantime, they just keep hitting the ball. They're one of the best offensive teams. In fact, after today, they may be right at the top with producing 11 more runs. They got a team that just keeps coming up. Mangum has played extremely well. You got to give Ben Cherington credit. I think a lot of people out there have taken their shots at him, me included, given the fact that this is 6 straight years, now 7, where they may not make the playoffs. I mean, his job is to win. That's the result. But he made some pretty good trades dating back to last year when Luis Ortiz was sent for Spencer Horwitz. Ortiz got suspended. He's not even playing. Horwitz is having a very good year. And then this year, he brings in Brandon Lau, Mason Montgomery, and Jake Mangum, all for Mike Burrows, which is just a steal. Burrows still may turn out to be a good pitcher, but certainly what they got in return is a winning combination there. And then with Cincinnati even, Tyler Callahan has come in here. They gave up Kyle Nicholas, who's been DFA'd from the Reds. I think he's now actually on the Washington roster. So some good news by Ben Cherington at this point. They have a good offense that keeps on trucking despite these injuries. And I wonder when Cruz comes back and Horwitz comes back, who goes off this roster? The easy choice at this point would be, probably if Cam Sanders or whomever's up now is one of the extra pitchers, that could be the case. Billy Cook is an obvious choice to go down, but then you're going to have to make one more difficult choice. Who would it be when both Cruz and Horwitz come up? 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Jason Robertson is the big fish in the hockey pond, and he's going to go back to Dallas, it appears, as he filed for arbitration today. 15 hockey players did exactly that. That means an arbitrator will decide what salary that he gets, whether it's what he proposes or what the team proposes. Most likely it'll settle before it ever gets to a hearing. And if that's the case then, and if they don't agree to a long-term deal, Jason Robertson will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. And that means his price tag will go up even higher. I thought it was interesting over the weekend to watch what Philadelphia did. They went out and signed Leo Carlsson to an offer sheet. He's 21 years old, already, I think, a superstar kind of player, just getting started with Anaheim. And he gets, I think, a 5-year, $90 million offer from the Flyers, which means at $18 million a year, whatever it is, Anaheim has just a few more days left to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to match that offer and keep him at that salary, or are they going to take the 4 number 1 picks that go with signing a restricted free agent? All interesting stuff. I'd love to hear from you on that at 412-575-2600. The soccer news of the day is Flo Balogun will play for USA tomorrow. Belgium is not happy about this at all, as the FIFA management reversed their decision and took back a suspension, which was given to him after he got a red card for a foul I didn't think rose to the level of a red card, but it did, and now it's been overridden. He'll be back in the lineup tomorrow. 412-575-2600. Call right now. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do it 7 nights a week right here on KDKA Plus, and most nights 93.7 The Fan. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from the Pittsburgh Riveters Soccer Club, thanking the fans for showing up. 2 years in the league now, and they have been terrific. They just fell short at the very end of their conference championship, so their season ends tonight losing to Minnesota 2-1. More of those highlights coming up at 11 on KDKA, as is the number 1 Cochran Sports Showdown. That'll take place at 11:35. Robbie and Spakowski will join me, as well as Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette and Will Graves of the Associated Press. Got a lot of people want to talk. Let's get right to it, beginning with Chuck in Uniontown, who joins us here on line 1. Hello, Chuck. What's going on?
Good evening, Bob. Thank you. Do you see the Pirates possibly having a big second half that will catapult them into the postseason play? Because it seems as though, this road trip that they just finished, this was their first multi-city winning road trip of the season, and they seem to be slowly turning in the right direction. And also, if they can make the playoffs, have a big second half, do you think that will influence what Brandon Lau might do, as he might stay here if he sees this team is coming to a bigger future?
Thank you, Chuck. Yeah, actually, it might, but I doubt it. I think it's still going to come down to money. Money makes the world go round. That clinking, clanking sound. There was a song like that, and it's true. He has one more payday left in him. I think he's 31, and if coming off this kind of season, he is going to be in demand. I don't think the Pirates will meet him at that price. I think they'll go to whatever their plan B is, but it might. I mean, I'll say this, Chuck: if they do get hot, and if they do go into the second, they're already hot offensively. They just got to make sure their bullpen's better, and there's some indication it could be. That would not stop me if I'm Ben Cherington from going out and getting help to the bullpen. He has to do it at the trade deadline. But I'm telling you, they could be a dangerous team. They're only 3 out still of the 3rd wild card. They got teams to overcome, but there's a lot of baseball left. And if they can get into a playoff, I think I'd take my chances with them. If Skeens gets it together, Ashcraft, Chandler's got to get better, Jones has got to get better, Keller certainly has to get better, if. But their offenses carry them along the way, and it's a resilient team. I think we've seen that over the course of this season. They've come back from a lot of tough situations, but they're only still 46 and 45. They need a better second half of the season. Let's go out to Joe in Whitehall. Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm good, Bob. How are you doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for calling.
The unfortunate thing is I did not hear what Chuck said because I walked away from my TV, but I hope I do not repeat what he said about Paul Skeens, our all-star representative. Do you agree with this?
On a reputation basis, yes, but did he earn it versus some of these other guys? No. I think if you look at WAR stat, he's 24th out of starting pitchers in WAR. So, the bottom line there is, a merit? No, he didn't have the kind of... Listen, he is a victim of his success. People expect what they expect from Paul Skeens. I think he knows that. He's not been as good as he needs to be. In the second half, he needs to be better. I'm still going to be very interested to see why we've seen this drop-off and whether or not he can turn it around here after the break. They're going to get some time off. He's scheduled to pitch Tuesday this week against Atlanta in the first game of that series, and that would put him on track. And if my numbers are correct here, that would put him on track to pitch Sunday before the break, which means he won't play in the All-Star game. He'll be there. He'll enjoy it, which he should. But he won't play, which can open the way for Braxton Ashcraft to get in. What I think, though, if he pitches Sunday, if this is correct, it could be Mizorowski versus Skeens on Sunday, right before the All-Star break. Wouldn't that be interesting? Let's go to Ron in Greensburg. Hey, Ron, how are you?
Hey, Bob. Good evening. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
Fellow Pioneer, so...
There we go.
Hey, I was just saying, after
Cruz and Horowitz come back, when Horowitz, those two come back, I kind of think Billy Cook's probably gone, and I hate to see it, but since the guy looks like he's been a good teammate, but I think Osuna's on his way out by the end of July. If nothing, I mean, he's not getting very many at-bats now. I think they can have a rotating designated hitter thing with all those guys. Now Valdez has shown what he can do, and Mangum, I think they're still pretty well set without him. I mean, I hate to see him go. He just seems like a good presence in the clubhouse, but
well, they're not paying him to be a coach, though, and that's the thing. You're right. He's a nice presence. He's got to do more for $12 million or whatever he's making. So at some point, they're going to have to make a decision on that. And they do have multiple people who can be a DH and also play positions. Valdez is one of them. He can play right. He can play left. He can be a DH. Callahan has shown he can play first base, so can O'Hearn, so can Horwitz. So they can mix and match there with Valdez in this thing. Sooner or later, they're going to have to make a move on him. And maybe, just maybe, someone will believe, maybe the Atlanta Braves will. We saw McCutchen just get another deal to come back. Maybe they'll, believe they can get him out of it and take him for something. I don't know. But he's not been a factor in this team, and he should have been based on what he's, his resume says about him. All right, let's go to Mark in Shadyside. What's up, Mark? How are you?
Good, Bob. Hey, your opinion about the idea of moving Mangum to the number 2 batting spot. I think he'd be the perfect complement to Connor leading off based on his average bat control and bunting ability.
Well, he's one of those guys you like. He does a lot of things. He went opposite field today, as you saw, Mark, and I don't know if I bet him. I like him 9th, actually. I do. Given, whenever he's healthy, I think Griffin should remain 1. I like Lau batting 2nd. I mean, he gives you a lot of pop right off the bat, followed by Reynolds, O'Hearn. You can mix it up any way you want. With Cruz and Horwitz in there, even today, Davis got a hit, a big one, a pinch hit, 2-run single. So Mangum has a place. I don't know if it's going to be full-time, obviously, when those guys come back, but he has a place to play. It's a nice problem to have if you're the Pirates. They're getting a lot of offense, even without 2 of their better offensive players. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. It's interesting, getting back to hockey, though, for those of you who want to talk about that, the Penguins did sign 4 players today, and they avoided arbitration with those players. The biggest name on that list is Igor Chinakhov. He got a 3-year deal for $6.25 million per year. That's pretty big, but he earned it. He came here in what was thought of just sort of one of those trades that, we'll trade this guy to this guy. He's not going to be a factor, but they saw something in him, and boy, did he play well for them. 21 goals, 21 assists in 40-some games for them, and he earned that $6.25 million. He's going to be a big part of what they do, but the Penguins have not done all that much when it comes to upgrading their team this year. What they did was double down on Chinakhov. They're going to bring in another guy who I would imagine serves the role of Anthony Mantha, who they're not bringing back. That would be Andrei Kuzmenko. They're going to try to make him one of those guys. He got $5 million, I think, for his salary. They're going to bank that he could become a better goal scorer and sort of like what Mantha did. But they haven't made a big splash yet, and I'm still waiting to see if Kyle Dubas has that on his bladder. Our KDKA.com/connect poll of the night. Do you agree with Paul Skeens being an all-star, yes or no? So far, no is the answer. I want to throw one other thing out, and this is interesting. It happened tonight. So the Marlins, their starting pitcher, Yuri Perez, had a perfect game, okay? Perfect game through 7 innings. 92 pitches, and yet their manager took him out of the game, which led to, unbelievable chanting by Marlins fans. They were obviously mad at this situation. And then the reliever came in the 8th inning right off the bat, gives up a walk, so the perfect game is gone, then gives up a hit, so the no-hitter's gone. Then he gives up an RBI single, so the shutout's gone. They still won the game. Marlins are hot. But what would you do? 92 pitches, perfect game through 7. My answer, he's staying out there. And I know these guys are overly protective about arms, but come on. He has a perfect game, and he was in a groove. He really was. What would you do? Call in. Let me know what you think at 412-575-2600. We're going to take a break. We got the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown coming your way tonight, 11:35. KDKA-TV. Join us for that. More of your calls next, right here on KDKA+. All right, welcome back. Once again, a question I posed before the break. I'd like to hear what you have to say at 412-575-2600. Marlins starting pitcher Yuri Perez had a perfect game through 7. Only 92 pitches, yet he was taken out of the game, and the bullpen immediately gave up a run, which ended the no-hitter, the perfect game, and the shutout. They still won the game. The game was in Sacramento, and A's fans were still booing. And there were Marlin fans there. They were really upset, but even the A's fans were upset. If you had a chance to see a perfect game, I think you'd want to see it. And if you're a pitcher who's the author of this perfect game, I think you'd want to continue. Now, he's young, and he probably won't say anything, or maybe he will. But I would have said, hey, at least let me get into the 8th inning and see what I can do. And if it's still going, so be it. Now, I know, these guys now are very worried about their arms and how many pitches and how much strain. But we have a lot of Twitter response. Dave at PGH Darren says, why do they do this? There are more arm injuries now than back when pitchers went the entire game. There are. Things have changed, but you're right. There are a lot of injuries. Jeff, who joins us at J. Allen 1966, he says, it looks like all the fans in Sacramento were mad. I agree. I would be mad, too. I don't know what this guy's pitch count was, and it's 92. But still, let him see if he can make history. And that's my point. How about history? All right, 92. I don't know what his biggest outing of pitches was this year, but 92 through 7, okay. If you have to stretch it to 105, if he wants to do it and feels good and is getting results, why would you do that? I think that's an interesting question. He deserved to stay in there, and I would have kept him in there. And forget all the metrics and all the things that tell me, oh, he only has this pitch count is this, that. Here we are in July. He's pitched enough to build up that arm. All right, we have a lot to talk about coming up tonight at 11:35 KDKA-TV. As I said before, my panel will include Will Graves of the Associated Press, Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette, and Robbie Makowski, who was former Pirate beat reporter and also the author of Sacred Grounds, a very interesting book. If you're a baseball fan, you should get it. So that's going to do it for us tonight. We have a big USA-Belgium game coming up tomorrow, and there are watch parties all over the place. Acrisure Stadium has one. F&B Stadium has one. A lot of people are going to be tuned into that now that they know that Balogun is going to play. They rescinded the red card, and so he will play for USA, and the people of Belgium are not happy about that. So I will be very interesting to see how the officiating goes in this game, because certainly you say what you want about FIFA, but there's been some controversy over the years, and I wouldn't be surprised if USA doesn't get the lion's share of the calls. That's going to do it. For all of us here, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again tomorrow night at 10:35, as we always do. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on KDKA+. Have a good week, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.